following is a paid program. Views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of CBS Radio, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Got my number one guy next to me right here, Harry Glanz.
What's up, Harvey? It's always good to be your number one guy.
All right.
Appreciate
October 14th, for sure, Harry. And you look super sharp today. I know you're going to a service today. But,
I've got a little memorial service I have to attend, but I'm happy to be here with you.
Yeah, well, look who we bring in. We got Joey I from our office, loan officer aficionado. Joe, thanks for joining us. And you brought in your friend Lee Ehlers from ReMerica. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir. Go green.
Go green, baby. Go white. I love it. Lee comes in with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. He loves selling houses. He tells it like it is, and that's why he's part of the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business team.
You're too kind. You're too kind.
Well, you know.
Hey, we take all your calls here, that's for sure. 248-539-9797. 1 hour's worth of mortgage talk and real estate talk. It's a different time of the year, and the weather's changing and sort of flip-flopping back and forth. We've got sort of an extended summer, Lee. Definitely be talking about how the environment is moving forward and why it's still a great time to purchase a house, and more importantly, maybe get your house listed and sold now.
Absolutely.
So got a lot to cover this afternoon.
So, Lee, Harvey and I were talking about, my favorite subject is property values and appraisals, right? Mm-hmm. So Harvey and I were talking. Harvey had a situation. We have a client that buying a new house. So when the appraiser goes out to the house, appraiser goes in the house, and the realtor's there. And there might have been a little moisture in the basement. There might not have been.
Hey, it's Michigan.
But the appraiser walks down the basement. The appraiser...
That's a true story. Yeah.
True story. The appraiser walks down the basement. In the basement is freshly mopped, so the floor is wet. The bucket and the mop are down there with the can of paint and the paint roller that they just freshly painted the basement walls. Now, what does that tell you?
Tells me there's a leak.
Right. Pretty easy. Tells me there's a leak, right?
There definitely was some evidence of water in the past, that's for sure.
So then what does the appraiser do? The appraiser cites it, right? So then 2-3 days later, the appraisal report comes back and it shows in the notation that here's what happened. Guess what happens? They start calling up, yelling and screaming.
No, he wasn't yelling and screaming. He was like, hey.
Right?
Appraiser get a picture of the bucket of dry lock.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
No, they had a conversation with the listing agent too. But yeah, at the end of the day, look, the appraiser, the appraisal said, hey, let's get an additional body out here, an inspection company, to make sure that the foundation is sound. And I'm okay with it, and so is my. So is the buyer, and that's the most important thing, the buyer has some confidence.
I'm glad that you're okay with it. I mean, I'm really happy
have a choice.
that you're okay with it.
Well, and the thing, too, because we're salesmen, we're going to be creative, but when it comes to directly and deliberately hiding things, it's not okay.
It's always disclosure for a reason. I mean, you gotta let it know.
It's an interesting thing, and this is why, it's so important to have a professional team with you. I saw in the pictures of the listing that the downspouts did not have downspout extenders. What probably is happening, it's been a rental, it's been vacant for a couple months now.
Right.
The listing agent actually told me he's never been to the house. Right. More importantly, that downspout goes directly into the foundation wall, and it's probably causing some issues, and over time it's going to cause even bigger issues.
All right, you have to grade it away from the house. You have to put the downspout and the extenders on and just have that water go away from the house. But why on the day that the appraiser, you set the appointment, why do you have the mop, the bucket, the paint, and the roller there?
Just no foresight.
I just don't get it. I just don't understand it.
A lot of agents, we're talking about value all the time. It's a big word I use, but that agent's never been there. That agent doesn't do their job. They throw that listing up. They put the sign in the yard. Then, oh, crap, I should probably check this house out. They freak out. They do everything, and they hope to cover it up.
I had a conversation with the gentleman. He's not in town and some other things. He was a nice enough guy, but there's no doubt. I mean, it all depends who you hire and who's involved in the transaction. Things could go sideways real quickly. And more importantly, is there a water issue? At the end of the day, I don't care that the appraiser cited it as much as the fact, is there a water issue?
Well, for us, I believe that our client wants to know what's going on with the house. So, yes, they got it inspected. Maybe it didn't show up on the inspection report. But it's our job, because we work for the client, to point things out and say, hey, look, you might want to check this out. At the very least, you might want to check it out. It's not that, hey, we don't want to do the transaction, but why would anybody want to buy a house that has a problem? I'm just so fix the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
It's good.
Definitely check it out.
You know, that's right.
Hey, Lee, one of the cool things about you, and again, we take your calls all morning long here live in the studio, 248-539-9797. We are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Be sure to give us a call. Get a real approval letter. If you don't have your real estate agent all hooked up, you can get approved with us. We'll get you one of these top agents in the area that will truly represent you in the best way. And Lee, that's one of the things, you know, that I always get from you is how you have the passion for the industry, but you care about your clients. I mean, there's a lot going on. You even talk about things like home warranties involved in transactions, mechanicals, radon test, inspections. Things can be fixed, things can be repaired, but it's important to go ahead and address these and negotiate them ahead of time.
Yeah, so the biggest thing that we talk to all our clients about is we're not builders, we don't build houses, and even the best builder out there, even the best inspector might not be there the day it rained or the day that there's been tons of rain, and it has to be a certain amount of rain before something happens. So when you talk about home inspections, when you talk about warranties, any of that stuff, what it is just building in protection for anything, for something intentional, for something unintentional, but just make sure that you're protected, because that's what I want all my clients to do.
Right. I think that's sound advice. And Lee, you're that guy. You'll tell it like it is, no matter what. And speaking like telling it as it is, where do you see the market going right now? You know, we're in the fall, we're going into the wintertime. Where do you see property values going in your market area? Where do you think it's happening?
So right now we're playing catch up a little bit. A lot of the buyers that couldn't get anything are finally able to get those offers in, are finally able to not lose out on 12 cash offers. So I don't think it's dropping, but I do think it's leveling off. And I think that'll continue into the winter as we still have a lot of motivated people. We just don't have a ton of inventory. So it's not going to drop. It's not going to plummet, nothing like that, but it is holding steady and it's not peaking like it was all summer.
So as Alex Nafusi likes to say every week, so there's a shortage of inventory or a shortage of quality inventory?
Shortage of quality inventory. There's definitely garbage out there I could sell you, but I don't want to. So it's if you're listening and you're thinking about selling that house and you've always been told, well, everybody knows summer's the best time to list, not necessarily true. If you have a nice house, you could be the only game in town and you can have a bidding war for your house.
Well, there are buyers all year round. And Alex, if you're out there listening today, guess what? He just validated your point. There's a shortage of quality listings on the market.
Here, I'm going to start off with a call this morning, and we'll get to a whole bunch of your calls, 248-539-9797. Let's go out to Gary in Redford. Good morning, Gary. Welcome to our show.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Well, thanks.
Morning.
Go ahead.
We're going to be moving to Florida. We have a rental house in Albion. Can we sell that with tenants in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so like anything else, the answer is it depends. But if your tenants are going to play ball, if your tenants are going to let people in the house, if your tenants will be cooperative, it's much, much easier. You can sell it without allowing people in the house. I mean, you can do anything you want, but it's not going to be easy. You might not get max value. So I think the first thing we want to do if we're going to list your house is talk to your tenants, be real polite with them because they don't have to do anything. They have the right to that house. But if we can all kind of work out something that makes sense for everybody, you get the most value, they get the most time in, everybody wins.
Hey, Gary, do they know that you're going to sell the house? Have you told them?
I talked to him. She started crying, and I said, wait, we'll work on it.
Well,
and
better
so,
yet.
Yeah, do they want to buy the house?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not in a position to.
Okay, sure. I understand that.
I could, let them do a rent option to buy, but being in Florida, I don't want to be, if there's a problem,
Yeah, you don't want the hassle, is what you're saying.
Get it up,
Right.
books, move it on.
Right.
Hey,
No,
Gary,
I understand that.
Are they good tenants there, too? They're making their payments on time and everything?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a situation where someone wants to buy it as a rental investment property for themselves and just keep those tenants in there, especially if they've been taking good care of the house and they're paying timely.
And one thing, Gary, is make sure you have that communication with them, let them know what's going on, because that makes the whole thing easier. And if they are still looking for, obviously, a place to live, there's great agents out there that don't just do the purchase side. They also will help you out, maybe helping them find a rental to help them place them so that they're not feeling like they're getting the rug pulled out from underneath them.
Okay.
Absolutely, man. So, yeah, we'll follow up with you. We'll talk about it, but it's something that a lot of people are looking for investments, just like you did. They can jump on that. And, I'll be honest, I'm pretty jealous you're moving to warm weather states. So what part are you going to?
Orlando.
Nice. Good for you.
All right, well, congratulations on your retirement and good luck. And hopefully you have no trouble selling that house, Gary. We'll follow up with you, and we appreciate the call. Hey, if you'd like to join the show again, 248-539-9797. We'll be back. We're up against a quick break. Keep it here.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Dan Bird for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the show, 946. If you're just joining us, it's a great, great day out there. I'm Harvey Freed, Alex Nafusi, and Lisa Lawson from Capital Mortgage Funding.
I'm
Call
over
us
here,
in
too.
here. Yeah, we'll get you in there, Dave. Dave McClain from Keller Williams out at the Lakeside office.
That's my feeling.
We're not hurting your feelings, are we, Dave? You're a real estate agent. You guys have thick skin. You can do it. Well, anyways,
No, they
Dave,
don't.
you said you were going to come up with a really good story, but I'll tell you, there's nothing could be better as when I was at a closing yesterday, and just everything goes smooth and it's exciting, but I mean, look outside, and this is some great weather. Cider mills, high school football, college football.
You
We
were
have
very
pro
excited about your
football.
story yesterday.
Yeah, I got home a bunch of things I want to throw out there. We have zoos here in Michigan. We have golf courses. Did I say we have a lot of lakes? There's a million
Yeah, we got
and
a
one
little water.
reasons. And
I
I
say
think
we have zoos here in Michigan.
we have zoos.
Like it's special to Michigan.
well, but we do have
Only
yeah.
state with zoos.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
also a lot of zoos that
Making
you
sure
don't
we're on
even
the
know
same
about.
page.
Sounds funny when you say it.
But
plural.
but a lot of positive things going on in Southeast Michigan. And again, I'm pro Michigan guy. This is my where I was born and raised and everything. And I think there's 8 million reasons to come here. But the number one reason is there's employment also. And there's a lot of job opportunity here. And with job opportunity comes home appreciation. And why not find out how you can get that roof over your head? 248-539-9797. You definitely want to hear from you. We talked a little bit about a couple topics here. One of them is the new tax plan also. Although the new tax agenda out there from the government says that potentially they're going to take away the interest, not the interest deduction, but the property tax deduction. And again, they're lowering your taxes on one side, and then they're taking something away. So
Taking away the deduction.
Yeah, it gets a little funky out there, but I can tell you this. The interest deduction is still strong. It would be even better if the National Association of Realtors gets some high-powered lobbyist in there to make sure that never becomes an issue for us. But I don't see that going away. And someone said that it doesn't really affect home ownership. I say it does.
It completely does.
100%, in my opinion, it does, yes.
Yeah, absolutely it does. Well, I mean, that's a huge benefit to buying a house.
And so many families at the end of the year after they do their tax return, they get that check for $3,000 to $6,000, and that's the money they use for home improvements and keeping their house really nice and tidy. So there's a lot of reasons why home ownership is cool, and I think that's actually one of the stronger points is the tax deduction. Again, if you're renting, you're paying someone else's mortgage, so that's not going to help you. All right.
Radio.com app and listen to 97.1 The Ticket anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
All righty, welcome back. 917. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. That's where you save money on mortgages. You get a great rate, the best service. Get the knowledge you need to make the great decisions on home purchasing and refinancing. Call Capital 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always live here in the studio at 248-539-9797. Lee, I'm going to take this call, and we got so much to share with our listeners out there for buyers and sellers. Let's roll out to Matt on a cell phone. Good morning, Matt. Welcome to our show.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Matt.
I'm giving you a call because I actually used to be in the industry about 11 years ago, and I had a friend ask me some advice, and you guys are already pretty knowledgeable, so I want to make sure I gave good advice.
Okay, go ahead.
Situation is he wants to do about $20,000 of repairs or home improvements on his house. He said the market value is about $300,000. He owes about $150,000 on his prime. He has no second right now. And the question was, he was wondering if he should take a loan against his retirement account. He could do 3% paying himself back at a 5-year term, but I suggested he might also want to look into a home equity line of credit, which would give him a longer term. Even though it's at a higher rate, he'd have potentially a lower monthly payment.
Right. What's the house worth?
Well, $300,000.
$300,000. What's he owe on it?
$150,000, Yost. What about his current rate and how many years left on his first mortgage? Those are the two important questions we didn't get. What's his current rate?
His current rate is 3.85. And
how many years left?
It's a 20-year, and he has about 17 years left on it.
Well, he could get I'm thinking he could get a 15-year mortgage fixed. The rate would be lower than what he currently has, and take that $20,000 out. And I like that step. I like that move in that direction.
Think of it this way, Matt. If he takes his money out of the market, he's not earning the money on where it's at versus taking money and actually from someone else. He can probably earn a higher rate of return than what he's going to be paying on interest. And he could probably cut a few years out of his mortgage by taking the 15-year at a lower rate. So he could probably take money out with a lender, go through, have a lower payment most likely overall, cut out a few years, and still let his money make money for him in the market.
Yeah, I like that one. I actually like refinancing the first mortgage. That way, not a second loan. There's no additional lien put onto the house. And he actually moves forward and gets a 15-year.
Yeah, he's going to use the equity without touching his retirement. I'm not a big fan of touching the retirement account, as you heard the other two gentlemen aren't either. I would tell you to use the equity, do the home improvement. He could go back on a 20 if he wanted, but he could also accelerate it to a 15. He paid off 2 years faster than he has now. That's a better plan.
Yeah, the one thing you can't get back, Matt, is time. You can't get back time that's invested in the market. You just can't.
Yeah, knocking 2 years off a mortgage is unbelievable. You know, just again, for $1,000 a month payment, that's $24,000 save right there. He's only borrowing $20,000, so a lot of opportunities there. Actually, any of the three choices would work. They could work, but I like the idea of getting into a 15-year fix with a lower rate.
There's a good, better, and best option.
Yes.
Okay, we're looking for the best option for the guy. If the guy has that type of equity and he wants to pull money out to do home improvement, he could use the equity in his house. He doesn't have to go backwards. If you want to go to a 20, the rate's going to be relatively the same either way. It's going to be lower if he goes on a 15. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I don't like touching a retirement account.
Right. Yeah, good news is there's no wrong answer on this one, Matt. It's just a matter of what you want to do. That's really it.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, well, another thing is that they do want to move in maybe 10 to 15 years anyway.
Okay.
All right.
Well, good. Maybe they'll have the house paid off by then. That'd be great.
But that's a long time. See, that's a long-term play. So I would tell you that go ahead and exercise the option to utilize the equity, refinance it, take cash out, and it's a simple first cash-out transaction option.
Okay, yeah, we'll pass that along.
Hey, Matt, we're going to follow up. We want his number, so I'm going to call you and see if we can get his number from you and at least run some numbers and send him over to him. Okay?
Okay.
I appreciate the opportunity. 248-539-9797 here live in the studio. We take all your calls. Again, interest rates are at all-time lows still. They just keep basically staying at all-time lows. Strength in the bond market continues. Rates had a really good end of the week, but get in and get locked soon. The word on the street is Fed's looking to move Fed funds rate up in December. Again, could see a trickle-down effect. Again, the economy is very fragile. geopolitical events. I use that term. That's a new term out there. But basically what it says is there's stuff going around the world here that can make things change pretty quickly again. So take advantage of these low interest rates and see how you can save a lot of money. Also, rentals and investment properties. Lee, it's one of the really cool things is, and it really started our show off this morning, is the gentleman already had a rental for sale. And we actually got some ticket text saying, hey, I'll pay cash for it. It's a great market out there. And some of the cities, like it turned out, that gentleman lived in Redford, but some of the cities like Redford, they're all around. I don't want to start naming all the cities across Southeast Michigan, but plenty of opportunities in some of these cities where homes are affordable and you can rent and net some income from a rental property and really in decent communities.
Well, absolutely. And it's I personally own rentals in Redford, and it's something that's been returned great results. And it's somebody that a lot of people down there, Ypsilanti is another up-and-coming town where it's right by a bigger city. It's right by where they want to be. They can't afford it, so they go into the Redfords or the surrounding areas, and they're great tenants, and they'll stay forever, and they just aren't in a situation where they can buy, so they'll work with you, and you're going to make a lot of money off it.
But Lee, there are a lot of people out there listening. They want to get into the investment property game, if you will. Mm-hmm. I think you should tell people how tough it is really to maintain properties. It's a full-time job. There are people out there that do it for a living. And it's easy to say, yeah, I want to pick up a property, get some rental income.
Oh, you mean it's not as easy as they make it look on HGTV?
Exactly
you
right.
Pick up any property, you do it yourself, and then you turn around for $1 billion more. Yeah, and so it is the type of thing where I say if you're looking to get in the rental game, if you're looking to buy and hold, buy and flip, anything like that, talk to us, because there are a lot of things that they never talk about, such as holding costs, just a million other things. So,
well, what about phone calls in the middle of the night when the furnace goes out?
Well,
how many times have you had that?
A million.
Right.
And it's my furnace went out, it's the sky's falling, you go over there, they didn't turn it on, or they forgot to turn it on, or they didn't switch it from somewhere to, there's a million different things that happen. And I'm not a builder, like I talk about all the time. And so to run out, you have management companies that could take a percentage of your overall. Mm-hmm. You have to factor that in, and you got to factor in, your loan, your taxes, all those things that
non-homesteaded taxes.
Oh, absolutely. So
well,
30%
Lee,
higher.
what happens when you have a mortgage on the house and you're depending on the renter to pay you so you could pay the mortgage, and then they're 2-3 months down? What happens then?
I freak out, and
right.
I freak out when you go to talk to them in the house and you thought they were going to keep it up to the standards you were going to keep it up, and they don't.
Yeah,
so
or they don't let you in, or they're not answering your calls, or they're never home when you go over, right?
Or they got to put the dog away that you specifically told them not to have in the house.
Right.
And so it's all that type of stuff, and then you have insurance guy calling you as well. So
yeah.
It can be a mess. It doesn't mean it's not a great way to be profitable. Mm-hmm. It's just that you have to be educated.
Look, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out, I'm a downside risk guy. Mm-hmm. You got to point out it's reality. It's reality of life. There's certain things that are going to happen. You have to anticipate that these things are going to happen. Just like in a mortgage transaction, you have to anticipate certain things are going to happen. When you buy a rental home, it's not like you see on TV, buy and flip, buy and rent. Okay, you don't just go and buy the house, put the best renters in, and make $500 to $1,000 a month in net income.
Right.
There are costs, a lot of expenses. There's things that happen. People don't pay the rent.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a free lunch. It doesn't start with just the purchase of the property and getting a good deal on it. You got to maintain it. You got to stay on top of it. And again, it's a lot easier on paper than it is in real life.
And you have to be in it. You have to be in it every day.
Yeah. Well, it's the type of thing where you have someone say, I want to buy a bar because it looks like fun.
Right.
Well, it's not fun. It's you're going to live there. If you want to say, I want to rent a house because it looks like fun, it's not fun. Trust me. It's not fun.
How much fun is it to come and fix a furnace at 2 in the morning?
Yeah, or even best case scenario where it's like you're not the guy fixing it. You have management companies. It's still there's real people with real problems, and you're the guy. You're the buck stops.
You're the guy.
Just with anything, it's 50% of the families out there are renting are going to pay you on time and are wonderful people. And their circumstances now just don't allow them to purchase a home. So renting works for them. Maybe someone who was just divorced recently or something like that just might not qualify now, but down the road they will. 50% are those people, and then 50% of the folks that really don't maintain properties, don't have the credit, and if you get involved with one of those, it can be a real pain. Hey, lots of great news to share with you as we come back. We've got at least another 35 minutes or so. If you're selling or buying a house, give us a call, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
right, if you're just joining us, 9:34. What a gorgeous day outside. Yeah, summer's just around the corner coming up this week, so get out there and get your approval letter at Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. You can also send us an email to mortgage.show@lowrateonline.com. That's a cool place to get us. We will get you a real, true approval letter, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But first, let's go to some of these calls at 248-539-9797. I'll go to Rob first in a car. Good morning, Rob. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you.
What's up, man?
Hey, Rob.
How you doing? I was just talking with a buddy of mine a couple of days ago, and he was telling me about his mortgage. And he says he's been paying just the interest on his mortgage instead of, like, trying to knock down the principal, like I always was told to do, like, get the principal down and all that. But
right.
He says he's not going to be able to pay the mortgage off. He's been in the house 15 years, and he'll probably be in it for another 10 or whatever. And he's like, I'm just paying my mortgage at about the interest off instead of trying to pay it all off. Because I know I can't pay it off.
Okay,
Rob,
that's fine.
Rob, so does he have an interest-only loan?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, so if he's got an interest-only loan, let's just use round numbers. If he took a loan out for $200,000 10 years ago, and he's been paying interest only, you know what his balance is?
Yeah.
$200,000 plus interest.
Yeah.
So he's not knocking anything off. I do not recommend those for your average person. If you're financially astute and you want to pay interest only plus principal, I get it. But those loans we used to call those super fun Happy Meal.
Well, the real
Happy
bummer,
arms.
and here, the real bummer is all those families, they call us up and they're like, gosh, I got no equity here.
Right.
And they get trained and accustomed to just paying the minimum. And that's not always the way to go. Sometimes that extra $200-$300 onto your payment.
Hey, Rob, what he's got to do, I know the payment's going to go up. He's got to get out of that. If he's going to be in that house for any length of period of time, he's got to refinance out of that.
Yeah, because he said, like, he goes, well, I'm paying like $550 or something like that. What would I have to pay if I went out when I was renting?
Well, Rob, here's the thing too. You guys got to pay attention to those interest-only ARMs. They're not interest-only forever. So there's usually a 10-year period, and then the program reverts to it's still a 30-year loan, but you're 10 years into it, so there's 20 years left. So his payment's going to go from $550 to $1,000 when that comes due.
It's dangerous. Dangerous.
It could be a little dangerous.
Yeah, when he told me that, I was like, what? I thought maybe this was some type of he was telling me the truth.
I'll call for the show and see if we can figure something out for him.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks,
all right,
Rob.
Maybe
Call,
you'll give us
buddy.
his number. Again, he could just give us a phone call. We can run some numbers by. He might be very comfortable with it. A lot of times we can just roll in the minimum closing costs in a transaction. He might be behind on some taxes. Again, when we have professional people look at your mortgage, we may be able to show you something that will save you money, not only now, but down the road, and, of course, build equity. That's the way to go.
Mortgage line number one. Take out an interest-only loan. Then when the property value goes up, we'll refinance you out of it.
What guarantees the property go up?
Where does it say it's guaranteed that your property value is going to go up?
Right.
All right. Have we not learned that lesson?
I don't think we learned any lessons where it's like back again, like it's pre-2007.
You're going to get me going.
I know. Hey,
You're gonna get me started.
248-539-9797. Let's go to Felicia out in Farmington Hills. Good morning. Welcome to our show.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good, Felicia. I'm so aggravated right now.
Why?
I get calls about people taking out interest-only loans. I'm very aggravated about that. That's not a loan you want to get. Please don't tell me you're calling about an interest-only loan.
She's calling to pay off her mortgage. Right, Felicia?
Absolutely not.
Good. Thank you. Make my day.
Okay, so my question for you is about paying off your mortgage.
To Congress that the Detroit Lions told him not to talk about the CTE he suffered while playing linebacker for the team. The Lions deny the claim. Red Wings winners over the Vegas Golden Knights 6-3, getting 2 goals from Gustav Nyquist. Peter Mrazek 24 saves. Pistons fall in preseason basketball to Milwaukee, but they get big games. Maybe Bradley with 26 and Andre Drummond with 18, 22, and 7. Matt Stafford expected to play, though listed as questionable. He's been participating in practice with that banged-up ankle. He's played 100 consecutive starts, make that 101 for the Lions. Michigan football today right here on 97.1 The Ticket. They'll kick it off at noon visiting Indiana, a team they've beaten 21 straight. MSU at Minnesota tonight. Couple huge upsets yesterday. Syracuse over number 2 Clemson 27-24. Number 8 Washington State demolished by Cal 37-3. ALCS Game 1 Astros 2 Yanks 1. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson for more 97.1theticket.com.
Michigan Wolverines head coach Jim Harbaugh talks to Jamie and Stoney every Wednesday at 7:15 on 97.1 The Ticket.
All righty, welcome back to the show, 9:32. If you're just joining us, not the greatest looking day out there, but hey, it's fall here in Michigan. Get out there and enjoy. If you need an approval letter, be sure to call Capital Mortgage Funding. We're going to talk about that. There's a real difference between approval letters and pre-qualification, so we got a lot to share with you. Come and join the show at 248-539-9797.
Was that your neighbor that asked that question?
Yeah, Juliet. She's
Juliet,
a
make me that
cool
banana
agent.
bread.
she
I want that banana bread.
Right, she can bake. She's a great mom. She's cool, but she always keeps us on our toes. Hey, Lee, speaking about that, a lot of different programs out there. As you know, down payment programs with zero down on the USDA loans. I wanted to say that Capital Mortgage Funding, our organization is part of the #1 lender in most units of USDA loans. Zero down loans. They do have income limits, but really across Michigan, not in the rural areas, not in the city.
It has to be a rural area.
Yeah, in a rural area. But all our counties have them here, including basically all of Livingston, pretty much all of Washington, Wayne, Macomb, and Oakland do have parts that fit in this program. So lots of zero down program, but 3% down conventional, 3.5% down FHA. It's a great time to buy a house.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of, because everyone says, do you guys offer that? Do you offer that? The answer is yes for you guys. You have a program for it, and you'll make it work.
For everything. And then I'm talking about some other things, Lee. We talked about some just reduced signs out there. Hey, there's nothing around. This time of year, we do see a lot of real estate signs and names out there, and they're buying a lot of just reduced. So, I mean, maybe that is the sign that, hey, these houses that were, everyone was fighting over, whatever's left come September, October, when the kids go back to school.
Lee, let's keep it real here, okay? If you went through the spring selling season, the summer selling season, now you're in the fall, and you haven't sold your house, and the market's hot, and you put on a just reduced sign, chances are
your house was overpriced.
Your house was a little too high.
Yeah, the market is a moving target. People always say, what's my house worth? And I can tell them what their house is worth today, but it's going to change. But if you sit through that this summer, and your house is still on the market, it's time to look in the mirror and face some serious facts. Either you're crazy or your realtor's crazy, or you guys just aren't living in the real world.
Or maybe you're just fishing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you stuck a line in the water. Maybe you got a bite. Maybe you didn't.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with that?
I think there's a huge problem with that. And the reason I say is your home price is either going to go up or down. And the second I see what your house was listed at and it's been sitting, I'm never, ever, ever going to give you asking price. Never. My clients aren't going to give you asking price. No one is. The second they see that your house has been there 15, 30, 45 days, the instant question I get is, what's wrong with that house?
Yeah, why is it sitting?
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Well, you got to get a second opinion in there. Luckily, we know that there's been a rash, 2,000 to 3,000 brand new agents right here in the Tri-County area. I mean, maybe there is a difference between someone who's brand new and someone who's got some additional experience that can bring some additional opinions to what's going on with the transaction or no transaction.
Lee, Harvey, and Joe, I mean, listen, the real estate community, like all communities, is a very small community. If that house has been sitting on the market, there's no secrets. All the realtors know, people know what the story is with that house. Every house has their own story.
Right.
Every realtor wants to sell a house. So you all know what the story is in that house. If the house has been on the market 90, 120, 150 days, you guys know what the deal is.
Well, yeah, and the other thing, too, is I can look on the MLS what it was listed at before. So your house has been on the market for 2 days. You don't know why it hasn't sold. Well, because I can see what the last guy listed it for.
Well, there are no secrets.
So, yeah, exactly. And there's new agents. There's agents that are out of town. There's people that they just don't know how to read comps. So there's a lot of different things that work together. But if your house is sitting, your house is overpriced. It just is. I heard for sale by owner call you guys last week, and he was complaining. He was saying his house is $40,000 more than the next door neighbor's house. But
of course it is.
He has
the crown molding.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's top of the line, unless it's made on gold and. Right. It's just not worth it.
Let me throw the number out there, 248-539-9797. Like to hear from all our listeners out there. Again, if you're buying or selling a house, be sure to give us a phone call. Buying a home is definitely the most significant purchase you're going to make in your life. Getting a great understanding of it is just paramount to your success in home ownership. We want to stress that at Capital Mortgage Funding, that's what generally separates us from anyone else out there, is our clients are extremely knowledgeable. They end up being as knowledgeable as us at the end of the transaction, as the real estate agents, as the mortgage people. They're learning terms, they're learning the process. They understand debt to income ratio, funds to close. There is so much that goes down in a transaction. I'm telling you, get more professional people involved and enjoy your home purchase and do things the right way. You'll thank us, that's for sure. So be sure to call Capital That's 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. And again, we'll set you up with great people like Lee Ehlers and so many of the great agents and teams of agents we've had here on the show over the last year or so. So again, great opportunities out there. Lee, we talk about relationships, your potential life partner. You're thinking now about buying a house. And you really haven't asked these important questions. A few articles have come out most recently about it, how to really approach your spouse or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, about their economic situation, their credit. It's pretty touchy. I don't know if you've come across that with some newer, younger buyers. And sometimes they find out quickly that maybe one of the incomes can't be used or they're a commission employee. I don't know if you've had an experience out there, if you'd like to comment on it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's like anything else in marriage, right? There's just a lot of assumptions made. Some are for good, some are for bad, but when was the last time you really sat down with your spouse and said, where are we at? Where do you want to be in 10 years? What's our goal together? And done it with a licensed professional, whether it be your lender, whether it be an agent. Because I can tell you on one hand how many times I haven't had problems with first-time buyers where the husband and wife, they thought they had the same vision. They don't have the same vision. It turns out they both don't want to rehab a 1910 farmhouse, that sort of thing. So the more you sit down, the more you talk about stuff, the more communication you have, the better off we all are.
Yeah, I'll throw financial planners definitely in that mix because you get a financial planner and great real estate agents with great mortgage people involved. All those parties can give you so much knowledge, and that's the key to it. There's no hitting buttons for some quick answer. No. Those are failures. If you're planning on going that route, that's not going to work out for you. And I'm telling you, I've talked to people that have gone that route. They don't even understand what they bought. They don't even know the terms of the mortgage. It's just not a good way to go. I mean, that knowledge gives you the confidence to really make that offer.
Well, credit's always a tricky thing. You have to sit down and you have to disclose to one another if you've had some negative things on your credit report, how much money you owe, credit card balances, student loan debt. That's a big one. So, when you sit down and you decide to make that decision together, you better be open and honest because guess what? That mortgage guy is going to know everything about you when he pulls your credit or she pulls your credit. And, you're either going to have a 740 score, a 700 score, a 660, 640, 610, 580. I mean, it's going to come out. And it's going to be there for everybody to see. So you can't really hide things when you get into the process.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with first-time home buyers. I'm sure you guys did it early in your career. And
still do.
I can tell you that nothing is more uncomfortable when the air gets sucked out of the room when you pull the credit profile on the husband and the wife goes, wait, what?
You mean when you're sitting in the conference room of your office or you're at a Starbucks and you have to go over the credit report and you're like,
yeah.
Hey, I didn't know about the Lord and Taylor. What do you mean you charge $5,000 at Art Van? I mean, come on.
Yeah. You mean when Mr. Wonderful isn't so Mr. Wonderful anymore?
Right, exactly. The 4 a.m. purchase at the ballet downtown.
Hey, now.
The honeymoon phase ends real quickly. So long story short, you guys, make sure you talk through your finance before you make a move and sit down with a real professional so they can do that for you and help you get there.
Yeah, I mean, there's contribute, anyone out there by asking the important questions. There's a nice way to go about it, but that's it's a touchy topic, but something that I think anyone in a relationship, and again, as you mentioned, when you're buying a house, Lee, one of the things is your needs and wants list.
Yeah.
Sometimes that has to be revised if you'd like to comment on that, because there's no doubt if you're striking out for 2 months, maybe you need to go back and say, you know what, maybe these other cities or these other opportunities might work for us.
Well, the buyer's consult is the most important part of the whole thing. It's where you really sit down, we really go in the office, and we just say, okay, lay out all your desires. Great. What are your tent poles? What do you absolutely have to have? Okay, great. Now let's talk about your price and see what's absolutely realistic, because I have talked to your lender. I have talked to your financial advisor. We know it's there. Because it's all fun and games at the front. It should be all fun and games. Buying a house should be a great time. It's really fun to hang out with me. I'm a cool guy.
Yeah, you're pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm handsome, good to look at, so I got the whole package. And then it's fun to look at homes and kick tires and all that. Great. Now let's get down to business. Make sure that you're in a realistic part. And if you're realistic, if your needs and goals are matched and aligned, great, cool. If they're not, let's have that talk now before we walk in that house you fall in love with. And oh crap, now we can't get it. That's when people start fighting.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. And again, that doesn't really make for a real fun process and anything. You feel like you're missing out on something. All right, we've got open lines, 248-539-9797. Always like to hear from you. We're up against a quick little break here, but when we come back, all of your questions. Thanks.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Good morning. If you're just joining us, we got a jam-packed show in about another 16 or so minutes. But you can always find us at Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE.
What is that music?
The best mortgage. That's great
what
stuff.
What was that?
That's good stuff.
That was Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah,
Rage Against the Machine. I like that.
I know who that is.
Who's that, bro?
It's great stuff.
Really?
Great stuff.
Cool.
Anyways,
You know who that is?
248-539-9797. Having some fun here this morning. And again, we brought Charlie Lutz in from the RE/MAX office on the side. Charlie, which office is that?
Well, it's nice that you say that. We've got 6
multiple.
offices. Yeah, we have. What makes it really nice for us is that we can pretty much take care of our clients wherever they live in the Macomb Township area. We have one in Chesterfield, there's one in Shelby, St. Clair Shores, Clinton Township, Warren, and we have a new office over in Royal Oak. So yeah, we can pretty much take care of everybody no matter what area you're in. And we just listed a nice one too that a lot of times the people are really interested in the 3-car garages.
Yeah.
Well, we have one over in Chesterfield. We just put on the market for $294. It was a builder's model built in 2000. And it's beautiful. I mean, it has the pan ceilings, recessed lights, granite. It's an unbelievable house. We just listed. And we put that one on the market for $294. So if you're looking for a 3-car garage in a beautiful spot, it's over by 21 in Sugar Bush. That's one there that you'd want to really take advantage of quick before someone grabs that one.
Yeah, that sounds really great. Great opportunity out there. Again, sometimes if you can find a builder's model, they put all the whistles and bells in there. And
everything's
it's really
in
gorgeous.
it. It's got all the bells and whistles.
All right, let's move off to some calls. And if you want to join us, 248-539-9797. Always on Facebook Live. Check us out. And again, like the Hardcore Mortgage Show, we appreciate it. Again, you'll find tons of information. We've been sending tons of information out there, and hopefully it'll help you purchase a new house or even sell yours. Let's move off to, let's try Mark first, and then we'll get to Eric. Good morning, Mark. Welcome to our show.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
My wife and I are looking at a place. It's listed as a lot right now, but there's an existing home on it. We just did a walkthrough with a realtor last week, and the home isn't in terrible condition, but it's my understanding the seller doesn't want to deal with the existing home. He wants to just sell it as a lot.
It's not
But
his choice.
If we were to come, what's that?
It's not really his choice.
Yeah, it's not his choice.
It's your choice because we need an appraisal on it.
Don't miss your chance to see the Wings face off against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Bogey and Wojo will be broadcasting on the concourse starting at 6. The street team and the ticket chicks will be there too for all the hockey fun. Brought to you by the Michigan Lottery's $2 cash in a flash, $2 instant game. There's fun in every one. For tickets to all Detroit Red Wings home games, go to DetroitRedWings.com.
In your radio, in your computer, and now in your pocket. Push, click, and listen.
97.1 The Ticket.
All right, welcome back to the show. I love that 90s alternative stuff, that's for sure. 9:45 if you're just joining us. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We talk about mortgages and real estate, you purchasing a house, you selling your house. This is the show you're going to get some great answers from. Appreciate all the callers so far. If you'd like to join the show, 248-539-9797. Talked about some touchier stuff today because we're talking about credit and relationships, maybe how to talk to your spouse, boyfriend, or girlfriend about, your plans in the future, even Lee, when you're out there talking about purchasing a house. But we do offer mortgages at 600 credit and above. And Joe, that gets a lot of people, and as Harry knows, that gets a lot of our first-time home buyers and people that have had blemishes in the past into housing. And FHA loans are fantastic, 3.5% down. That's a great way to go.
Yeah,
you guys want to jump in on that?
Well, credit's the number one thing you have to check out. You have to check out, and I know that your neighbor wants to talk about pre-approved, pre-qualified, approved, all those terms that we throw around, but you have to check your credit out first. How do you know what your credit rating or credit score is unless you have us check it out for you?
Yeah.
Then we go over your financial aspects, your income, your debt-to-income ratio. We we check all that out. But the first thing you have to check out is, do you have the ability, do you have the credit record in order to purchase a house?
Mm-hmm. And it takes credit to go ahead and get better credit scores. So a lot of families out there, if you're talking about, I only pay for cash, I don't believe in credit, that's just not going to fly in the 2000s.
Listen, those days are over. In the 1980s, we still had people that wanted to pay everything cash. People didn't have credit scores, and there were no such thing as credit scores back then. They became in vogue in the mid to late 1990s, and then there were credit scores. Well, now you can't rent a car, get a hotel. You can't do anything without having a credit card. We're not saying to charge up a credit card. We're saying you have to take out a credit card, establish a credit history, a credit rating, and then that's what everything is judged on. That's the baseline. I'm not saying use it.
Well, yeah,
I'm not saying abuse it.
Well, you're going to get gas, for example. You're going to fill up your tank every week or whatever. You're looking at $30 to $45 there. So at the end of the month, instead of you paying cash for it, that's a great place to start, is even try a gas card.
That's exactly
it's a really good place to start. All right, lots of information for you. 248-539-9797. Again, find out where you stand, because things do change in your lifetime. And again, if you ran your credit last year, maybe your credit's better now. Maybe you've done some better things to it. Also, life happens. That's one thing I always like to talk about too, Lee. We have lots of situations out there throughout the years. You're always going to have those where people are in the middle of a transaction and things go awry. They might lose a job. Maybe they've got their house sold and those people lose a job, or whatever. The financing falls through. Their gift, their family member giving them the gift, that falls through. That's why having a professional team sort of eases all that pain. I love the fact that when you have professional agents in there, they're there to really soften all those big peaks and valleys.
Oh, yeah, Harvey. I always talk about it. I say bad things happen to good people. It just is what it is. If you have something that happens, sit down with a professional, let them break down your situation, figure out why it happened, figure out how to change that, and how to get yourself in a position to where maybe it isn't right for you 6 months from now, but a year from now, if you take the steps, we give you the medicine to do it, you can go through and home ownership can be a reality for you.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Also, refinancing, debt consolidation, families adding their first and second mortgage together. And, of course, always a rate and term refinance where you can drop 5 to 10 years off your mortgage and save yourself thousands of dollars. We're really interested in getting you guys into the office and showing what these savings could be. Let's move off to a call now. We got Jim out in Novi. Good morning, Jim. Welcome to our show. Hey, Jim, you there? Hey, how you doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
Real good. Go ahead with your question.
My question is, I have a home in Novi. It's about 25 years old, 26 years old. It's paid for. And then I also have a daughter who also lives in Novi. She is married, and she has 3 little girls. And I was thinking about telling my kids, let's rent your home out, and you move in with us for a couple of years.
Oh.
The situation is I have Parkinson's.
Yes.
I can't hardly do anything anymore. And I think it would help me as well as help my kids. Eventually, they would just take over the home. We would eventually sell her home that's in Novi as well.
Well, how does she feel about that?
The key question is, how does she feel about it? What does she want to do?
She has 3 young kids. Are they, willing to help you? I love the fact that, she would be willing to come and help you out, Jim. No doubt about that. How does she feel about it?
They're all excited about it, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah, sounds like a win-win.
Yeah, then why wouldn't she sell her house now?
Right.
Well, that's a good question. Maybe we should sell hers.
Right.
I actually purchased the home. It's in her name. I purchased it probably 5-6 years ago. And we gutted it and just put all new stuff in it.
Well, Jim, so here's what I would tell you with that, and it sounds amazing. And right now, you have all new stuff in that house, brand new. We listed, we talk about all the new stuff and all the essentials you have that are fully finished, awesome. If you rent it out now, every year you rent your house is about 5 years wear and tear on that property. So it's going to go downhill. It's not going to be worth what it's worth. Even in the best case scenario, renters ding stuff up when they're moving out. Maybe they spill on the carpet a little bit, or even stuff's just now 5 years old. So I would say we'd sit down, we talk about it, see if that's the best thing, and then you can use all that money, equity. You can get other rentals that you're not so concerned about, that don't have all the updates. It's something that we really should talk about, though, but I think selling might be your best bet.
Or put the money away even for the future. And Jim, what Lee's saying is he'll come out to your house and there's no charge at all, and or your daughter's house there, and really give you a good market analysis on what's going on in the neighborhood, how much you guys would be able to sell in today's marketplace. And again, that along with the conversations you're having with your daughter, I think will get you guys to where you need to be.
Jim, renting a house out is not easy. And, we talk about it on the show all the time. We just had a segment on it. Mm-hmm. I know you're trying to do what's best. And if she's in agreement, her and your grandkids are going to move in with you, sell that other house.
Yeah, move it while there's still a shine on it, as Lee's saying. You know, you got new stuff in there, move it off the books, especially if you have what's going on with you personally, and she's got 3 kids. That's a lot of plates spinning. Get that thing off the books, get the equity out of it, get what you put into it back.
There you go. Hey, it's a great call,
You're a
Jim.
good dad. Good job.
Wish you the best moving forward. And again, we'll follow up with you, Jim, and see if I can get Lee out to your daughter's house or give you some more information that you guys can use.
Hey, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate you
got it.
calling.
All right, feel good, my man. 248-539-9797. You want to sneak a phone call in? I know we got Pat Caputo coming in with sports all day long, tons of college football, and there's been some exciting high school football across the community, and sort of adding some high school football in with our show in the up and coming weeks here, as we mentioned.
Yeah, just see John Harrington from Farmington Harrison. He's now has the record of most wins in high school football coaching history.
All right, Coach Harrington out there at Farmington Hills Harrison, congratulations. He definitely deserves that. We know a lot of people out that way, and salute to all the hardworking boys out there putting their best effort to get their teams in the playoff. Harry, we're going to start talking. We'll just drop the playoffs in the next coming weeks. We'll throw a little football in there with our mortgage show. Why not? Also, Lee, you got a whole bunch of great open houses coming up. We're going to start featuring the open houses on the Hardcore Mortgage page. That way, everyone across our listening audience can find out where some of these great open houses are. And I'll tell you, these are the selected homes. These are the homes that the motivated sellers, and these are the ones you want to get into.
Yeah, absolutely. Today at from 12 o'clock to 3, if you like waterfront property, got a place on Whitmore Lake. It's 10095 John R. Street. You'll be able to match a face to the super handsome voice that you've been tickling your ears all day. Come on out. Again, 12 to 3.
Hey, I'm not going to be there.
No? Oh.
No, Lee will be there.
Oh, Lee's going to be there.
I guess you got to settle for me then, guys.
Okay, there you go. Sorry.
We'll be there 12 to 3 today and tomorrow, but that's it's on the canal there for Whitmore Lake, so you get a lot of access. All Viking appliances in the kitchen, which is almost unheard of. And then I have a lot of people that have reached out. They're looking in Livonia. Next weekend, we're going to have a place on Sunset, which is about 7 Mile in Merriman. So give me a call on that one as well. But, yeah, a lot of exciting properties. So we talked about before, if you're still looking to buy, there is stuff out there. There's stuff that's loosening up a little bit. So we can find stuff before it hits the market. That way, if you are a buyer, maybe you don't have a ton of stuff to put down, you can get in there before you have to hit a bidding war and lose out.
Well, we talked about it. Maybe some price reductions come the fall if the house has been sitting there over time. Maybe some more seller's concessions. So if your hands are tied a little bit with the amount of money you're working with, again, you've got your down payment, you've got closing costs, you've got your escrow accounts, the components of a home ownership, all those come together. If you get a little bit of help from a seller, that can make a transaction happen. And it allows you more money to work with, maybe to do those home improvements after you close, or just keep that money for a rainy day. Again, if we can get more buyers your way, that's the key. And again, nothing wrong with renting for some situations out there, but you're paying somebody else's mortgage, and you need to find out if you can go ahead and become a homeowner.
But you don't want to jump into a transaction just to jump into a transaction.
Right.
You want to find what's best for you. Just don't feel pressured to buy a house. Buy the right house for your specific circumstance. That's it's got to be a fit.
Well, I think you guys, you had a really key term you just talked about with Jim, and the word is free. It's free to talk to me. It's free to talk to you guys. It's free to use me in a transaction. It's free to use your lender until we close. So there's absolutely no reason not to give us a call now. Just see what's going on. Because if you want to rent, that's great. Let's talk through your rental. We can do that for free as well. So let's talk about your goals and your plans. Make sure we can meet them. Let's make sure we can get you there and get you on the path to success.
A lot of great things going out there. What did you got? Joey, what do you got?
I just want to illustrate something. It's not often you get to talk to a true professional and it doesn't cost you a thing. You go to a doctor, it's not free.
There you go.
It's not free. True professionals in our industry, it is free, and we're here to help you.
All right, Joey, we want to thank you from Capital Mortgage Funding. Thanks for bringing in Lee Ehlers, as always. Lee, super handsome as always. Someone who cares about you. Love your energy always, Lee. Really appreciate it. All right, we got tons of sports here on 97.1. Keep it here all day. Be sure to call Capital Mortgage Funding. Get that approval letter. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. For Harry Glanz, I'm Harvey Freed. We'll hear you next Saturday.
Go green.
Go white.
97.1 The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.